What's going on, guys? My name is El De Niro, and welcome to a very special edition of WWP. If you were here last week, you'll know that there was no episode last week, or in the many weeks preceding that week. We've slacked off, but it is a tradition that we review the Royal Rumble. I think this is the third one in a row.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here we are. I'm flanked, as always, by the notorious MIG, returning from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
It's Miguel.
Hello, hello. Yes, good to have the Irish-Portuguese connection back.
Mm. Oh my god, that's the first time you've ever revealed your nationality on the podcast.
Well, it's 2020, new starts and all that, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Just in case I feel like I want to talk about Portugal now, I feel like I've got like the floor is mine to do it.
That's true, yeah.
So if I want to perhaps reference Bruno Fernandes or Cristiano Ronaldo as a reference.
Or the Lisbon Treaty.
Or the Lisbon Treaty, perhaps. Yeah, that was coming due on a couple of days from time of recording. But yeah. So if I want to reference those things, I feel now I can, and I do often like to talk about the Lisbon Treaty in any conversation.
Yeah.
If I can slip in a reference to to what went down, I will do it.
Absolutely. So now that we've got that out of the way,
it's time
for the Royal Rumble. Bit of a different format today because usually we would review all the matches on the card. But I am going to be honest and I think slightly unprofessional and admit to you listeners that I actually haven't been watching wrestling for a while. I've been keeping up to date with it. I've been watching YouTube videos from the official WWE page. I've been watching reruns of SmackDown and Raw on BT, and I was watching it on Sky before they stopped. But I'm nowhere near up to date enough to be entertained by Sheamus against Shorty.
Are you not entertained?
So
guess who's the mark? One of us watched the pre-show and the full show. One of us probably did the right thing and watched the eventful things, the Rumbles and title matches.
Rumbles. Yeah, and I actually wish that I had the time to watch the Bray Wyatt Daniel Bryan match, but I haven't as yet because I have started a new job, as I always have every week, and I'm very tired all the time. So I think the important thing is the Rumble because the longer arc here that we have in mind is WrestleMania, and as much as Bray Wyatt is the champion and will serve a purpose at WrestleMania, he is not Brock Lesnar, who will serve the purpose at WrestleMania. So
that was his first mistake, not being Brock
yeah.
Lesnar. But I can talk you through the pre-show, just give you some pointers. I'll just go through it really quickly. No one can fucking talk in any of the panels. I don't know if you know what they do. They do like these little panels.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the pre-shows, Miguel. Come on, give me a little fucking credit here.
Booker, I mean, his hair's looking so long, it looks amazing. But he's saying fuck all.
It's just like, hi, Booker, I'm Corey Graves. And then it cuts to Booker T, and Booker's like, ha, 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 ha.
Like, what a night.
Why are you laughing so much? I bet you he's an amazing person to be around. I bet he radiates charisma, and like, I bet you he's just such a nice guy in real life. But like, it does not really translate very well, I don't think, when all he's doing is laughing at everything that's said, and a lot of it is not even jokes.
I think out of everybody that was on the pre-show, yeah, he's the most like you'd want to go for a drink with, because he'd keep you, like, you wouldn't be bored, because you might be, you know, a little bit bored hanging out with a tongue up who probably wouldn't drink, and you wouldn't want to hang out with Lawler because you know he's probably going to show you some pictures of things that he's done or seen or is into. Maybe Renee as well. She's Canadian. She's probably going to be a laugh. So would Christian. But yeah, so Christian couldn't talk in the pre-show.
Supposedly Christian in real life is an absolute bollocks.
Yeah, him and Kane have quite the love-hate relationship, like the rib type relationship. Vince hates him. That's a fact. Yeah. But for some reason, he just couldn't get his words out last night. And they talked about, they had like an event, it was like Worlds Collide, which is NXT UK versus the normal NXT. And
great name.
Yeah. And when, great song. And when
Powerman 5000 represent.
And when they were talking about Imperium, which is the group that this guy Walter is a part of, and a couple of other people, and then the Undisputed Era from like regular NXT. He was like, "I love the match," and he glanced down to get the names right. It's like, well, if you loved it that fucking much, why look down at the? I love the match between Roman and Imperium, and those guys are all great, man. They're amazing. But yeah,
Roman Regins and
and the big
Jeremy Corbyn
and the big Lebowski and the big Showster. It was just weird because everybody seemed a little bit confused. They had this guy called Sam Roberts, and he kind of talked about things that you could tell that he wasn't supposed to talk about. Like he made a reference to Vince McMahon tearing his quads. And everyone was like, "Oh, be careful if you want to keep your job around here. This might be your last Royal Rumble." And it's that stupid WWE attitude. This is like, there's just certain. I don't really like Sam Roberts either, but there's like certain things.
Is he the guy who did he like pay his way onto that fucking panel or something like that? Or am I thinking of
no,
someone
that's
else?
the other guy. That's like the ESPN guy that I don't even use anymore. But not the guy that used to do NFL, because that guy's quite funny.
I don't know, but I know I don't like Sam Roberts. I knew this before, but I always get him confused with that guy who paid his way on, and I feel like they're both analogous.
They're the
like,
same
they're both
person.
and they're fucking useless.
Yeah, but I still think like the low key bullying of Sam Roberts is a bit weird.
Oh, I haven't noticed that. Did I just participate?
Because you pile on.
Yeah.
Because you're on the side of Booker T being like, "Oh, slap your ass, silly boy." So Sheamus defeated Shorty G. Andrade, who's the United States champion, defeated Humberto Carrillo. And that was pretty much it. There's 2 hours of just, the usual stats video they do. In the Rumble, there's been 50,000 people eliminated. Stone Cold is still bald. All the stats that they give out.
Number of hairs on Stone Cold's head.
0. Number of times he's won the Rumble, trays. But yeah, so to open, we had Roman Reigns, who's still getting booed, weirdly.
That is weird.
Very weird. He hasn't been anywhere near the title picture for probably about a year and a half since he's come back from the leukemia. Was it leukemia?
Do you know what, though? Yeah, it was leukemia, yeah. He has actually improved so much. Like, I feel like every time I watch him in the ring, I'm like, holy shit, he's learned something new. His
right hands are amazing.
Oh, man. And just the way he carries himself around, like, his swagger is better than ever. Like, he seems like a man who truly doesn't give a fuck and enjoys it. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like he's just an amazing portrait of that type of wrestling charisma where it's badass and he doesn't talk a lot, but he still radiates charisma, that kind of way.
He revels in it. He doesn't shy away from mixed reactions because certain people will get pissed or start. I mean, he did it before. I think earlier on it got to him, but by now I think he's kind of has a, he has thicker skin as well.
Ever since the promo where he said, "I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy," I think that was when he really fucking came into his own. And then the following year, he had an even better promo where he stood there with the mic to his mouth for 30 minutes before saying, "It's my yard now." And I feel like, that was sensational. But I feel like that that type of attitude he embodies that now in like that's completely in his spirit, and I think that it's excellent entertainment if you are a wrestling fan.
And maybe coming back from an illness as well probably gives you a different perspective of like, I'm just going to enjoy this no matter what.
Yeah, I'd say that's very true.
So I think that, there's a number of factors here, but Roman ended up defeating King Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match. It was a pretty basic, walk and brawl, couple of table spots. They went through pretty much every single announce table. But I did notice that Michael Cole got on Corey right away because Corey accidentally said that maybe we wouldn't see both of these people in the Rumble. And Cole, quick as fuck, they're both going to be in the Rumble, actually. They're both going to be in the Rumble. And Corey was like, "Oh, no. I just meant that one of them might not be able to make it to the Rumble.
Yeah.
He might get hurt." And Michael's, no. Both men are officially listed in the Rumble.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
Maybe
they were trying to avoid. Remember the time that Roman came out after he had that match with was it Kevin Owens?
Yeah, title match. He's the first guy to get a title match and come out in this. Oh no, because what am I talking about? Becky did that exact same thing the year after, last year.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, because that's
To
20.
thunderous applause, we might add.
Yeah, not a chorus of boos, but
Yeah.
and she won, which Roman didn't do. So
Yeah.
yeah, we then had they actually paid tribute to Kobe Bryant's passing as well. I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't catch it. I knew that it was happening, but I went out of my way to avoid it because I was just very, very worried and nervous about it because the Fed should only do things within the Fed. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a really I never I don't care about basketball at all. I know that Kobe played for the Lakers and that he was sensational, but I just feel like
That's for the record, that's the Chicago Lakers, right?
the Chicago Laker Bulls.
The New York, New Hampshire Nuggets, I believe he also
Yes,
played for briefly.
greatest baseball teams ever. But
I love it. I love it. I live for NBA. It's my favorite sport, man. I support the Boston Celts. I love them.
the Boston Celtics.
Celtic FC, bro, all the way.
But
Sorry,
nah, man,
carry on.
the Kobe thing actually shook me in a really well. I guess yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not actually that weird now that I analyze it in any real way, because obviously you know about my friend like a few months ago. But it kind of just hit me that like, holy shit, this guy had all this money and his life just got taken away in an instant. And when he went on that helicopter, he couldn't have known, and like all that stuff. Like you get all those fucking like existential like things. And I was just really afraid that if WWE went near it, they would do something fucking outrageous, like, oh, this is. He was to his game what Doink the Clown was to ours. May they both rest in, that kind of thing. And
we'll make him an honorary member of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, ooh, PR, PR, PR. No, it was actually very classy. They kept it very short. Cool. It was just like the picture, the dates, and just the fade out. Not to kind of go off the Rumble sort of situation, but yeah, kind of weird. But at the same time, you kind of have to remember that, unfortunately, Ritual for like unfortunately shit just seems to happen, and it always seems sudden because thankfully we don't just wander around thinking about these things, these morbid things, and these negative. Oh, hopefully not.
What are you talking about? That's all I think about.
Well, you should try. Try not to, because. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Nice. Touching tribute to not too complex, pretty straightforward.
Good job, Fed.
Then yeah. Every now and then they will be good. So we then had the women's Royal Rumble match, which was odd because they're like, well, we only got 7 entrants confirmed. I was like, is this going to be like the one they did a few years back? Because the
women's battle royale.
Yeah, the one they did a few years back where the first women's rumble where they had like 6 people and then a million returns, but then you kind of realized once the pop kind of it's Michelle McCool, it's like, yeah, but she's kind of shit, isn't she? Not to pick on Michelle McCool necessarily, but they actually filled it in really well. It was nice to see Mighty Molly come back, even though he looked quite scary when she was doing bumps. Kelly as well. It was weird to see her back. I never rated her, still don't. But it was still nice to see her return. There was a number 26 particularly caught my eye. Shotzi Blackheart.
Blackheart. Yeah. She was really good, actually.
Yeah, she's an NXT wrestler, and I can't keep up with NXT or AEW. It's too much. And yeah, like she was pretty cool, and she had a very distinctive look. I suppose that's why she stood out from everybody else.
She looked like Aleister Black, except
a lady. Yeah. And she got Blackheart in her name too, which is the darkest of hearts. As
that's true.
Yeah, it was nice to see just pretty much, the usuals, Kairi Sane, Liv. I actually rate Liv. I don't know what they're doing with her, but Lana flubbed her promo when she said she was going to be the next WWE Women's Champion.
Yeah, and then King had an immediate line that was something like, I think her fame has gone to her mouth, or something like that.
Doesn't make any fucking sense, but yeah.
But man, I actually thought it was so good. Like, I know that we hate Jerry Lawler, and that's the line of the podcast, but like I feel like his commentary is actually so fucking valuable at times like that, because I say this all the time. It is like the thesis of this podcast. But Michael Cole would have just filled that segment with dead air. And Jerry Lawler made a joke out of it that didn't come at the expense of Lana, but actually only enhanced her heel persona, I think. And
that's how
that's
you
just
should
really
do it.
important.
Yeah,
Exactly.
agreed.
Yeah, it's really like he just knows the business from that kind of perspective in a way that Cole doesn't, because Michael Cole is a human PowerPoint presentation.
No
Also,
feelings or thoughts on that man. I keep thinking
yeah,
he's a
yeah.
boy. He's not a boy. He's like a 60s. He must be pushing 50 at least. But yeah,
I think he's
it's weird.
91.
As I
He
said,
just has a really good skincare
I still
regime.
think, like, we probably touched on this before, but I honestly do think that as soon as the show ends, they just unplug Michael Cole and they just move him to the next town.
Yeah.
And then they plug him in again.
When Lana was coming out, what's the guy's name? Fucking Josh Grisham or whatever it is.
Todd Phillips.
Yeah, Todd Phillips. Said, "Can you imagine if Lana and Lashley both won the respective Royal Rumbles?" And Corey was like, "Oh, I think we'd never hear the end of that." Like, Lashley was not even in the men's Rumble, so
Yes.
yeah, I'm afraid imagination is all we have on that front.
Unfortunately, you're gonna have to book that on WWE 2K, not the most recent one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we also had it was quite interesting. I always like seeing the NXT wrestlers, to be honest.
Same. Yeah.
Coming into it, I actually thought they would have gone with Shayna Baszler. And she came out, I think she came out number 30. Now, I'm skipping a lot here, but she came out number 30, and I was like, ooh, I think she's the one who's going to win. And I kind of start marking for her. But realistically, out of everyone in it, you could really only put about 2 or 3 people, and you could be like, those people are stars and are going to win.
Yeah.
And it was Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, obviously, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, and, maybe Kairi Sane, but then it's like your tag team champion, and obviously Asuka's going for the other belt, so they probably wouldn't pull that trigger there, and she's a heel, and she's clearly like the second heel in that team. The spot with Mandy and Otis was quite funny as well.
Yeah, and also the commentary was fucking so on point.
Yeah, when he's like gyrating in front of him, he's like, I don't even know what part of his anatomy that was on the table.
Yeah. And then when
it was his dick, Corey. It was his dick, okay?
When it didn't work, and Corey was like, Otis is beside himself, and then Jerry Lawler goes, he's beside a lot of people. No, sorry, fucking Todd Phillips said, Otis is beside himself, and Corey goes, he's beside a lot of people, Phil. Look at the size of him.
Oh.
I know it's a fat joke, but like...
That's his gimmick. Like, he's a working man, so that's fine. For him, it's fine. And then, we then had the most... I mean, this did not go well in this person. Is Santina Marella came out at number 29.
To Billy and Chuck's music.
Yeah. What? Yeah,
is there a story there? I think
he was doing that. For fuck's sake. I think Santino was doing that when he came out and he won the women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania 25, which was the most disrespectful thing when they brought back all the divas, but they all came out while Kid Rock was singing.
Oh, God.
While Kid Rock was performing All Summer Long or in Sweet Home Carolina, whatever the fuck kind of cover sounding song it was, and
Sweet Home American Werewolf in London or whatever.
Sweet Home Pyongyang. Yeah, whatever. And so he came out, Santino came out, and I just felt like this is not. There's cringe, funny, and there's unfunny. That's actually retrospectively funny. This was both cringe and unfunny, which just creates a black hole, as far as I'm concerned, to just be like, fuck me, like, did you really need that spot like that? And I know people go, well, there's been women in the Rumble, but no women in the Rumble came out dressed like men. When Chyna was in the Rumble, she didn't come out dressed as fucking, Hulk Hogan or whatever. Cause, when Beth Phoenix was in it, she didn't come out dressed as Sabu. So, yeah, just which I know I'm thinking that would be bizarre.
Which I would pay money to see.
Yeah, I would actually mark out for that because the connection's not there. Also, Naomi came back, which was pretty cool, and she looked amazing.
Dude, she is actually she is proof that they just straight up did not bother training women how to wrestle in the past, because her improvement as a wrestler, like since the so-called women's revolution or whatever, is fucking sensational. Like the way she carries herself in the ring, like obviously her athleticism isn't in question, but like she's a good worker, and
Yeah, and they
she's
thrust her to do the Kofi spot as well.
yeah.
And
But what the fuck was going on with that?
yeah, worst
Like,
one yet.
the cameras were deliberately avoiding her, and like whenever I did see her, she was talking to the commentators, and like she was out there for about fucking 45 minutes. Like, it was very strange. I just that didn't work somehow, or it wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, because I commented on the person I was watching it with. I was like, just stay there then for the whole match.
Yeah.
And then anyone comes to get you, just kick them, and then they'll fall over and get eliminated. Like what?
Also, she could have just jumped onto the steps. She didn't even need that ramp.
Yeah, so yeah, she's done that before, that exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it felt a little bit like they're like, we need to have the spot, but you know, they didn't have any kind of creativeness behind it. It was like the sort of the Spider-Man spot where she hangs onto to the rail or to the barricades on the side, and then the table jump. But so Sasha Banks wasn't in this, which really surprised me.
Is there a reason for that? Do we know?
She's not hurt. She's not, unless she's probably had some personal stuff going on, like last time. Not too sure why, but it was just odd. But yeah, so Charlotte Flair ended up winning. Again, you say what you want. She's probably not the most deserved winner, but you can make the argument that last year the only reason why she did win was because of Becky, and now you removed Becky, and she's the best women's wrestler on the roster. She needs to be a heel ASAP. She's still being booked like a tweener, even though she talks like a heel and acts like a heel. You can't call yourself the queen and be a fucking baby face. Retrospectively, maybe, but not as your career goes on.
Charlotte, actually, a couple other things just before, because I want to ask you a question about Charlotte.
Sure.
Halfway through this Rumble, we were left with the first two entrants in the ring. I thought that was a really nice touch, because they really put Belair over in terms of her cardio, her durability, her adaptability, her just kind of raw power, and just basically like her prowess as a wrestler. And then with Alexa, they always put over her like survivability, you know, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, she's like the female edge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
She always finds a way. Yeah.
I know, like, some of my friends are like the hardcore wrestling fans, like who would the type that would boo Roman and think that Dolph Ziggler should be in a 60-minute Iron Man match every fucking SmackDown or whatever. Obviously, no one thinks that now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there was a time when they all thought
2014.
that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But these guys hate Alexa Bliss, and they don't understand why Vince loves her so much. And I really feel like every time I'm watching her, it's self-evident. Like, she's a fucking amazing worker who has this
sorry, go on.
dedication to her persona that like some wrestlers just will never have.
Yeah.
No matter how long they're in the business for. She's such a fucking natural. Like, she's so good at it. So I thought that was really good, and I think they really put Belair over, and they made her look great, and that's just really, really nice. The tug of war with the hair into the elimination was fucking awesome. Like, especially because she uses her hair as a weapon like quite a lot. And then Alexa thought that, like, Alexa doing that is in character a very shrewd and tactical sort of survivability trait that she would have. And then for Belair to use it against her in such a crushing way, I just thought that was a really, really good spot, like really good storytelling, and all that stuff. And then the other thing I wanted to say was Kelly looks like another woman playing the role of Kelly.
Body double.
I don't know who that person is,
yeah,
but it does not look like Kelly. Shit, what was the other thing that I wanted to say? Okay, this is kind of a little bit of a mean thing to say, but Nikki Cross, I really appreciate her energy, but it feels like she has no control over her body at all. And she, like, even when she ran down to the ring, I was like, she's gonna fall over or something. Like, it looked like a child walking down steps or something like that.
They never went through the and by the way, to your Alexa point, well, girls love her, and she is quite the role model because she's overcome quite a lot, and she's a good character, especially now that she's a full-on babyface now. She hasn't been a heel in a while, but
she has a pet pig as well.
And they haven't pulled, that immediately makes you like, like that's every girl's dream.
Disgusting.
No, seriously, like a lot of people would give a lot of money to own a pig.
I know. Fucking George Clooney famously had a pig.
Did he?
So yeah, he did, and then the pig died.
No way. Little story about George Clooney. You know all those coffee ads he does when he looks like the smuggest prick in the world?
Yeah, it's because he genuinely believes in that coffee.
He fucking has used every single penny of that to, like, help track, like, these terrorists in Sudan. I had no idea about this. Like, he's taken all the money he's ever earned from any of those coffee ads, and he says the only reason why he does them is just, like, he's been building schools there, and I thought it was a pretty cool thing.
But Paul Joseph Watson thinks he's an idiot, so why would I like George Clooney? He's a virtue-signaling celebrity, isn't he?
Yeah, except, like, he virtues for good things?
Yeah, I know, yeah. Man.
Well, less on that. Also, I thought the Final Four was kind of weird because they had Beth and Natalya there, and Beth, the woman who's not a full-time wrestler. I know she does rumbles and other matches here and there. She's
a primary school teacher, by the way, full-time. That's what she does.
She has a proper job. She has. Why the fuck would she heel on not heel? She would eliminate Natalya. What, you gonna take on Shayna and Charlotte? Are you mad? Like. That was the most ridiculous.
I actually know why. I know why.
That reminded me of the Kane Undertaker, like when Undertaker eliminated Kane at the 2003 Rumble, and it was just Taker versus Brock Lesnar, and it's like, why?
But I know that
together.
Beth did it because Natalie eliminated her last year. You see, long-term storytelling.
Did the commentators mention it? Maybe they did. I didn't really listen.
They mentioned it earlier on, but I must say the commentary in this was way better than the commentary in the men's.
Yeah, it was poor on the men's, but yeah. So Charlotte wins. Charlotte will be going to WrestleMania.
Is she overbooked?
Overbooked in what sense?
Is she like booked too strong? Like
totally.
She's 33 years old, right? She's gonna go for probably another 12 years.
Yeah.
She's already like a 157-time champion. She's a 16-time Rumble winner. She's an 18-time WrestleMania headliner, and she has 26 Hell in a Cell victories.
They're trying to make her the female Ricky Flair, so she probably will get literally 16 title reigns across however many years she's an active wrestler.
She's only how many does she have already? She has fucking
8.
tons already.
8 or 9, I think.
Like,
legitimately,
that's low.
8 or 9.
She's 33.
Yeah.
Like.
I think as well. They see her as like the face of the women's division, and obviously Becky had to work up against that. She is overbooked, but at the same time, it's much like the Roman thing, I suppose, for other fans. It's like she's not bad. She's not bad at all. She's a very, very good professional wrestler. It's just.
I agree with that.
How much do you need to see her, and how much do you want to see her keep winning? But I imagine it'll be Charlotte versus Becky at WrestleMania. So after that, we had basically what can only be described as the toilet break match as Bayley took on Lacey Evans. Pretty standard match. Bayley has gone full heel though, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Lacey Evans is now the babyface. They kind of touched on the fact that she's like, well, I try to be a role model. Fuck you, fuck your daughter, go fuck yourself. That's fine. So, yeah.
Wow, the PG era has gotten so dark.
The Attitude Era is never coming back. Well, kiss my ass. No, it was a pretty standard feud between sort of two people, one challenger, one champion. Bayley retained. It made sense. I'm not too sure Bayley, because I don't think they're gonna go Charlotte Bayley at WrestleMania, because that feels like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see if Bayley maybe defends it at whatever gimmick match they have this time.
No Way Out.
Yeah, Elimination, No Way Out, Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, not much to say about that. Other than Lacey Evans is Jesus Christ, her back is amazing. She's got the army bod. insane shape. And
I
then
would let her strangle me to death
we
with any part of her body.
plank me, lady. So we walk this plank. So then we had the Fiend Bray Wyatt versus D-Bry, Booker's boy D-Bry. Sorry, that's his full name. He's Booker's boy. He's in Booker's top 5 and in his Fave 5 and his all-time top 5. So he's like made it to all the top 5. So
and his bottom 5.
And his bottom 5, and that's his boy. Yeah, really interesting story. Daniel Bryan turned babyface here slowly, cut his hair so he looks exactly the same as he did 10 years ago, which is weird.
Yeah.
And they kind of actually acknowledged the feud that they had before. Brackets, make sure to plug our previous episodes covering the Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt feud in the past. And so they had a strap match because obviously from Bryan's perspective, the Fiend keeps appearing, disappearing, running in, running out. Do you have much to say about this match? It was a match it was a strap match. You know what those are usually like.
It's good that they actually had a genuine reason for having a strap match, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't often get that. And what I liked as well, they didn't do the stupid red lights. They actually just did regular lights. Bray Wyatt won. It made sense. But they told the story of Daniel Bryan kind of, never giving up, putting a really strong fight. And not only that, he got to walk out of his own accord, so he didn't get stretchered out, even though he got the mandible claw, which is awesome that Bray Wyatt's doing the mandible claw as well.
Also, the second time that Bray has gone over D-Bry at a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, like that. Funny enough, Christian on the pre-show was talking about everyone's got that one opponent that they can't beat in regards to Becky versus Asuka match, but they neglected to use it to this match as well because they could have said that the same thing. They would have been like, look, Daniel Bryan is one of the all-time greats and blah blah, but for some reason, whenever it comes to Bray Wyatt, he just could never beat him one-on-one clean.
I wish they did stuff like that more. Like they did it to great effect with Triple H and The Undertaker. And it's something that adds a level of realness to the sport that I think it's really lacking. And from what I understand, Fox really want them to pursue that kind of realness.
I think so Christian on the pre-show, he said, look, Randy Orton always had my number. And then during the match that we're going to talk about next, which is Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's title against Asuka, Jerry Lawler said, look, there's a guy, Bret Hart, no matter what I did, no matter what stipulation, I could just not beat this guy. This guy just had my number. And it's like you're making a point which is based on complete randomness of how a match happened to be booked.
It's like me saying that I couldn't beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I just never have his number, man. But it's cool that that happens. That sometimes, certain people can't be certain people. Happens in football as well. Happens in all sports where that one team just has your number because of a mentality thing. So, Becky versus Asuka. Now, I really enjoyed this match, but the fans were fucking dead for this. They seemed to have no hate up until the finish, which was Asuka was going to go for the green mist, and Becky kicked her in the gut. Asuka spits out the green mist on herself, gets put in the disarmer. 1, 2, 3. Now 1, 2, 3 is a tap out. 1, 2 tap, and Becky retains. It was kind of a foregone conclusion. I like the story they told of Asuka always beating her, and obviously Asuka beat her last year in a phenomenal match, which was about 5-6 minutes longer than this one. I think that one was better, but this one's always worth a watch, and I think I really hope that for the third year in a row, Asuka does not get shafted at WrestleMania.
Asuka is in my top 5 wrestlers on the roster right now.
Period. Like men or women's. I think she's fucking amazing. She's
sensational, and like Ronda would be there too. Obviously, she's not there anymore. But I think that she's also great. I miss her. Please come back, Ronda.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought she was coming back tonight.
Yeah.
And but Santina. Who would you pick, anyways? So now we go on to the main event, which is the Royal Rumbles, the males Royal Rumble match. Now this was a very unique Rumble. I'm sure everyone who's watched it and kind of knew the build-up was very interested because Brock Lesnar just straight up said, I'm going to be in it because I'm the champion, and I'm kind of sick and tired of fighting Cain Velasquez and fucking Rey Mysterio, and who else did he fight? Tyson Fury? Oh, no, that was Braun. Weird time that in wrestling.
Yeah, I know, it was very fucking odd.
Very bizarre, but yeah.
I wrote down one note, and it is quotation marks, the winner will headline WrestleMania, they say, while Brock, who will absolutely headline WrestleMania, enters the ring. And I think that really sums it all up.
He was low-key, apparently, quite pissed off that the year before he opened the show with Seth. So I think, he'll probably be in the actual main event. So, can you name all the people that Brock eliminated off the top of your head there, or have you got it written down?
Oh, okay, I have it in front of me, but I will close it. Fuck, it's really hard.
It's 13 people.
The first thing, when Elias came out and Brock started running at him, that is the most fucking terrifying thing I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
I said that exact same thing to the person I was watching it with. I said to him,
was it Dan?
It was Dan. It's like,
shout out to Dan.
I know this is fake, and I know this is like he'll never go off the script, but legitimately having Brock Lesnar running after you and manhandling you must be one of the most terrifying aspects.
He stumbled over his own momentum on his way out, and then he's there tearing it at the man, and it's like, this guy is I don't know what his actual fucking weight is, and what is it, 300, fucking 260, 270? I don't know what the fuck he weighs.
Probably 280, 290, right? Probably close to 300, but not actually 300.
But he's tearing at him like a fucking bull. He would absolutely rip that man's fucking limbs out of their sockets.
Scary.
Holy shit. Also, it's crazy, side note, crazy that Elias is super over, considering his gimmick is pretty much the exact same, except that he has a bandana now.
He literally said he was a lamb to the slaughter zone when he came out. I think Elias the Drifter could have been upper mid-card, but I think WWE see him very much as lower mid-card.
Yeah.
So, at most, he might get the US title, or at the very least, he might get the hardcore title, but they don't really see him, which is a shame, because I think that gimmick could go, especially... Yeah. I feel like there's a list of about 10 or 15 gimmicks over the last sort of, let's say 30 years that they could have gone really dark with, but WWE never do. So Doink the Clown, they could have gone super it with it, even though he was a heel, but then he immediately became a babyface, and you are a comedy jobber. R-Truth, when he first turned heel and he was insane, and then they kind of went the little Jimmy route, and then people found out that he was funny, so he became comedy. Sean O'Hare, about 15 years ago, there's a reference. He had the kind of a devil's advocate gimmick, where he would kind of do these vignettes, these legendary vignettes, where he'd be like, look, you cheat on your wife, what she doesn't know doesn't hurt her. And then at the end he'd be like, I'm only telling you what you already know. So it was kind of like he's this guy who just goes indulge in all your sins. What's the problem? Why do you refrain from doing it? And then they put him with fucking Roddy Piper. That made no sense. And they jobbed him out.
Should have been Chuck Palumbo.
Yeah, yes, WCW.
Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo were tag team champions.
They were. In the early days of the Alliance, I think they came in together. I remember them getting potatoed by the APA badly.
That's correct, yeah, which was stupid because they were the same fucking size, same fucking basic thing, and the Fed are whoa, well, AP are way better than these guys.
One team had clout backstage. Guess which one didn't? The one team the stiffest clothesline from hell. So with Elias as well, they could go a little bit more like Charles Manson about it.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of he's so deluded that he thinks he can change the world through his music and his professional wrestling.
But they already have Bray Wyatt, so they probably couldn't.
Yeah, and even with Bray though, because his gimmick kind of just wandered and kind of farted his way for about 10 years. It just fucking skid marks of what he could have been. Because he never went full cultist, Undertaker coming out in a massive cloak talking about sacrifices in the higher power, because he could never say higher power for some reason. Higher power. But same thing with Elias. Like, they kind of just see him as like Double J 2020.
Yeah,
like old Double J Jeff Jarrett, country singer. JEFF JERREETT. That's Jeff Jarrett. That's his old gimmick, by the way.
It is.
I still remember it. So, it's a shame. So he gets chucked out, and
hold on. I'm writing down. I have a McDonald's napkin here and a pen, and I'm writing down the people that Brock eliminated. Okay, I have 5.
Okay, give me the others.
Okay, so there's Elias.
Yes, 1.
Rowan.
Yes.
Rey Mysterio.
Who's that jumping off the top rope? It's Rey.
Shelton Benjamin.
Did you like the stuff with Benjamin? Because they actually
loved it.
They actually acknowledged the old Minnesota stretching crew in OVW where they're like hugging and shit.
I loved it. I love Shelton as well. Like I thought it was great.
Mad respect for him. Shame they don't push him either. Him and Matt Hardy and stuff like that. Who else?
Who else? I have Nakamura.
The knacker. The big knacker.
In Ireland, that means something completely different.
I know. That's why I said it, my friend.
I'm trying...
Shinsuke Nakamura. Who would have thought?
I know that he threw Ray out with some other fucking guy, and I can't remember who the guy is. Okay, Bobby Roode isn't... Robert Roode.
Another wrestler that feels underutilized, but I guess...
fuck him.
Yeah, mini Triple H, I guess.
We don't fucking need another fucking guy who wears a fucking robe, do we? Like, we have, like, fucking hundreds of them.
We also seem to have a lot of men with long wet hair on this Rumble as well.
Yeah, that's true. Very greasy Rumble.
The
chip pan backstage got a lot of fucking heads dipped in it before this one, let me tell you.
Should I tell you the others then? Can you think of any more?
So, Ray and somebody else both got shown out at the same time. And the somebody else is not AJ Styles, but it's someone else who had beef with Brock. But they all seem to fucking have beef with Brock. So
Eric Rowan.
Andrade, he was there.
Who?
Was he? Andrade? No.
Was he there?
No. He was not.
I don't remember. He might have been there. No, he wasn't there. At least he was. No, he wasn't there at all. Which is weird because he should have been.
I have 6, which isn't even fucking half of them.
Should I tell you the rest then?
You might as well.
John Morrison. The return.
My boy, Johnny Nitro, yeah. Shit, actually, because the New Day were there.
Yes,
that was one of the best spots in the whole fucking thing. So there was Big E and fucking Kofi.
Yep. So how many of you are 8, I think? 9?
Let's see. So there's Big E, Kofi, and who was the other? Johnny Nitro. I've literally never said what name he goes by. He's only Johnny Nitro to me.
It's because you love saying Nitro. Just get the flutters of the 90s. Yeah, 9.
No, that is true. And also Eric Bischoff told him to take the name Johnny Nitro. So
he did. On Raw. Why was he Johnny Raw? I don't know. Or, Davey SmackDown. So there you go. So,
Johnny Nitro and Joey Thunder, the two fucking...
Here they come.
They call themselves M&M. Even though it doesn't make sense.
So you then had Cesaro, a.k.a. the Forgotten Man.
The Swiss Forgotten Man, yeah.
The Swiss Memory.
The fucking Power Ranger.
Montel
Vontavious Porter.
I'm coming! What did you make of him coming back? Basically, what do you make of the 2008 mid-card being in full-fledged... So we got Morrison, Kingston, Mysterio, Cesaro, Benjamin, MVP, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler...
Kofi. Yeah.
It's just bizarre that they all came back eventually. So in 10 years' time, you're going to see people like, I don't know, King
Elias.
Corbin, Elias, yeah, Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, and stuff like that. I think you literally just missed out Keith Lee and Braun Strowman, and that's it.
Yeah, I did forget Braun, and to be honest, I was not going to remember Keith Lee.
Do you not? What'd you make of him though? Would you make a Brock reacting to him?
It was great. Oh, you're a big boy.
Yeah, he's like looking at Paul Heyman and being like, "Who's this motherfucker?" He's like, "Big boy." By the way, I don't know if you've seen Keith Lee. He's very deceptive. That motherfucker can do a moonsault, by the way.
When I say I wasn't going to remember him, I mean his name. He just has a generic name. Like, he might as well be called, like, John Wrestler for all I fucking know.
Yeah.
But,
Billy Ring.
He was good, though. I was impressed. But also, I don't know, Brock, like, it's very hard for me to be impressed by you when you're standing next to Brock Lesnar, so...
And then we had Ricochet come out, who actually had a confrontation with Brock a couple of weeks before, and he was the one who kind of initiated the throwing off. Because I kind of liked that it was like, the first stage is Brock just chucking people out, and then it's like 2 people survive, so they double team, and he still chucks them out. Then the big lads come out, and he still chucks them out. But then, because obviously Ricochet is getting a bit of a push, like he was the guy who was allowed to stay in, and then Drew comes out. And
I've been waiting for the chance to fucking put my boot up your ass.
And unbelievable, a man who just outright refuses to use the first 2 letters of his name. He doesn't care for an N. He's just Drew to you and me. Drew. And full name, by the way, Andrew McLean Galloway the fucking 5th. No,
he's a huge Rangers fan, so fuck him as far as I'm concerned.
He's a big Rangers fan, is he?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
When did he say that? When did he say that?
So, there are two things are possible here, right? Thing number 1 is that when I was living in Glasgow, he said it on some televised broadcast. Possibility number 2 is that I made it up because I didn't like him.
I quickly just Googled him. You're right. He does. Galloway is a supporter of Scottish team Rangers FC.
Yeah.
Now, as I recall, Rangers are the best team in Scotland.
That's correct, sir.
Boasting such great players as George Edmondson. And the one in...
That fucking ugly bastard they have up front who gets fucking sent off in every match that he plays. But we digress. I want to say...
boy. Hang on, though. Your boy, Morelos,
yeah.
Morelos,
he is the ugliest man I've ever seen. And, like, he wouldn't be ugly if he just chose to have a neutral expression. But instead he's like when, you know, in cartoons when they just have pointy eyebrows because they're angry all the fucking time. That's what he's like.
Yeah.
He's just a miserable fucking bastard, this guy.
It's quite funny. I thought you were going to say like he wouldn't be so ugly if he didn't play for Rangers.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
He'd be far better looking if he played for a team, perhaps, I don't know, Ipswich. Which interesting, it's the same kit as Rangers, isn't it?
One thing, yeah, it is. One thing I want to say real quick before we move on is that I fucking hate Montel Vontavious Porter, and I don't even find him like it's X-Pac heat, like not even in a he's such a good heel because he makes me angry kind of way. Sure. I hate him because he's a big pile of nothingness, and he's a fucking like. I don't know, he's the abyss through which all charisma in the world flows into when it's done shining. Like, he's atrocious. And also, he's put on so much weight, which is not necessarily a problem, but, like, I feel like there's no possible way that he can go for, you know, the same way that he used to. I don't know.
He had a match on Raw against Mysterio the next night, and he looked blown. He looked gassed. So yeah, I think his deal's very short term. I think it's like a couple of months, maybe through Mania. I don't know what to make of him. I didn't really understand him when I was younger, but then I thought that for a while he had it, and they didn't pull the trigger on him. I think he wrestled like Randy Orton, and he was insanely over, and they never pulled the trigger. And then from down on, it was just like, right, they're never going to pull the trigger. So you made me care, and then you took it away, which is even worse. But seems to be all around nice guy, very kind of switched on dude.
Fuck him.
But fuck him.
I don't care.
Reiterate that.
I don't care how nice he is. I don't care if he gives all of his money to charity. Fuck him.
Gives it to charity, who then promptly pay him back. Actually.
Yeah.
It's just weird. So we had Drew. And Drew was the man who actually eliminated. Now they've been doing something with Drew that like he was kind of a heel, and he was kind of like calling out, "Oh, you hate you." Like Undertaker, he hated Undertaker. He feuded with Roman. He feuded with a couple people. But then lately he'd been a bit of a tweener, but kind of like he's not a babyface. He just happens to be fighting heels type of tweener. Mm. And he got a lot of reaction. I think he was fighting AJ and Randy Orton. And yeah. So
yeah, he
was over, and fuck me, what a performance, what a star-making performance tonight. Brock Lesnar getting eliminated and just landing on the mat. By the way, Drew was the man who eliminated him after a few little blows from Ricochet.
And Drew hit him with a Claymore, which I thought that an explosive device of that nature and volatility would not be allowed in the ring. But whatever, I applaud it. Right. It's progressive. It's good to see.
The refs didn't see it. That's the thing. Yeah, so he's the man who eliminated Lesnar, so you've already planted the seed there. So I'm very glad that they went with him. Obviously, we'll get to the end of the match and talk about what that means later on. But like, that was a moment. That was like a Royal Rumble moment, which at this point the match was hella entertaining. We're about half an hour into it. We had Miz, Styles, Ziggler, Carl Anderson, and then at number 21,
you think you know me.
On this day, I see Edge. So two quick things. Number one, Edge is probably like within my top fives. Always rated him. That's why he's a rated R superstar.
Always rated R.
Banter.
Lads on tour.
What
huh?
Banter? Oh yes, rugby. Yeah, just saying sports now. But anyways. Rugby.
The cricket in it.
Cricket. Croquet. Cheltenham. Rotherham. Anyways, Millwall. Fucking what a pop. But then we were watching it. Oh my God, Edge is back. The crowd exploded like I haven't seen them explode in years. Because this was kind of like, I think the rumors were floating around, but it's always, every year you get an Austin or Paige or, someone's always rumored to come back.
Yeah.
And the camera really, really infuriated me.
Yeah.
They couldn't find the fucking guy. There's bits where he wasn't even on camera. It kept cutting to the crowd. It kept cutting to the wrestlers. Like, just keep it on Edge. And you saw the emotion on his face, man, how much that meant to him.
And he came in the ring, hit a spear that no one fucking saw.
We missed the first spear. We missed the bit where he kind of just took it all in slightly after he did his pose and his taunt with the pyro going off. I mean, he looked fucking awesome, though. He looked in insane good shape. Looks healthy as fuck, man. Like, yeah. and he's also got like, I'm liking this sort of, rough white beard dad Edge,
Yeah, same.
Like
hair around his belly button. Why not?
Yeah, fuck it. Like he's man. Yeah, it was phenomenal to see him back, and he did 23 minutes in the Rumble. Albeit, I think he injured AJ Styles with a spear. Don't know if you caught that.
That's AJ's fault.
AJ kind of went to sell it by doing the inside out thing, I think.
AJ
landed right on his shoulder.
AJ has killed 2 people with the Styles Clash, so fuck him.
Yeah, I guess life has a weird way of
yeah. To be clear, listeners, I do not believe this.
Yeah. He hasn't killed anyone.
Yeah.
And thankfully that's not how karma works. But yeah, hope he's okay. He's just a little bit, like his shoulder's a bit fucked, but maybe not too banged up. Yeah. Edge managed to eliminate also Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton.
Randall Keith Orton.
They did a little reunion though, which was awesome.
It was so
rated
good.
RKO reunion. Just having a fucking chat, and Randy Orton's like, "Hey man, you look great." And then Egg was like, "Yeah, you look great as well." And then later on, Randy Orton went to tease an RKO, didn't do it, and Edge just fucking got him out, which was pretty cool.
But then Edge shouted like I've been around too long, kid. And it's like, hold on a minute
Hey,
now.
just come back, bro.
Wait
Yeah.
just a second. Randy Orton has spent way more time in a ring than you have. Like,
Yeah.
way more. Like, probably twice as long in a ring as you have. So, maybe fucking give it a rest calling him kid.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even notice that, by the way. I didn't notice he said that. But either way, I thought that was a phenomenal moment. I did think that Matt Riddle got a bit buried. Do you rate Matt Riddle? Do you know much about him?
Yeah, I know a fair bit about him. I watched him when he was in UFC, so I've always been interested to see
That
him.
guy can go. I
Yeah, he
saw him
fucking
in
can.
NXT have a few matches with the Velveteen Dream,
Yeah.
and he was phenomenal. Legitimately, one of my favorite matches of all time is Matt Riddle versus the Velveteen Dream for the NXT North American title. But yeah, WWE clearly doesn't have any plans for him just yet. I saw that people on the internet kind of were overreacting by being like, he's buried, he's buried. It's like,
I think he like, so he was in there for 41 seconds, right? Let's be real. But while he was in there, he looked impressive. Like, I was excited to see him. I thought that he did pretty well. I thought that him getting eliminated was fair enough, though. Like,
if you have nothing for him, some people say don't book him. Right, but if you have nothing for him at the same time, he had a match the night before at Worlds Collide, I think. And really, if we get to next year and he fucking wins the Rumble, I'm pretty sure we're going to forget all this. He'll never get his Brock Lesnar match, though, nor his Goldberg match, because he seems to hate them both, by the way.
plus, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, remember one year they had, oh my god, I cannot remember his fucking name. They had Bo Dallas, and he was in the Rumble for like 4 hours, and he eliminated like 26 people. And then
yeah, he eliminated the Cosmic King, King Barrett.
King Thanos.
King fucking bad news.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I got some bad news. That guy.
I'm afraid of... I don't know why I did it. Drew McIntyre saying it.
Drew. My favorite thing was like bad news was cutting a promo, and I think he was standing on the announce table, and 40-year fucking veteran, king of the witty comebacks, Jerry Lawler gets the mic and goes, "Well, bad news. Maybe next week you won't be around." Yep. There it is. There's the moment. But anyways, yeah, I don't really feel too much for Matt Riddle. Like, he's fine in NXT. If they don't bring him up, he'll probably be NXT champion, have some insane matches with pretty much half the people there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could have showcased him, but this is clearly about other things and other people. So as we get towards the end, we had a really good selection of people at the end that you can make a case for. So you had Drew, Kevin, Samoa Joe, Edge, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and am I missing someone? Possibly Aleister Black.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And other than Aleister Black, you can make a case for anybody else winning. So we started to go down, and Seth had his goons. What'd you think of Seth's new squad? With the AOP and Buddy Rogers, not Buddy Rogers, Buddy Murphy.
You got there. I think the Monday Night Messiah is a pretty cool sounding gimmick. I think it's I don't know. I don't want to say like about time for him, but I don't know. I think that there's a lot of room with Seth Rollins for them to do different things. The only thing that I worry about is that when he was a heel, he was your quintessential Ric Flairian heel, using low blows and winning at any cost.
Chicken shit heel.
Yeah, right. But everyone was like, they're ruining him. He looks weak. Like, nobody... It seems like nobody who likes a wrestler is capable of understanding the concept of what a heel actually is. So I just worry that if they... Like, he's an excellent chicken shit heel. And, like, that suits him incredibly well. But the fans are so, like, blinded and incapable of fucking objectively analyzing it.
I think I know why that is,
Because they're a bunch of fucking spoiled cunts, is that why?
Basically, I think... yeah, I think that. No, basically, I think a lot of them, they grew up with late 90s. By the way, this isn't me being like, I'm a wrestling historian, I know everything. No, I've seen what I've seen, and I know what I know. But for me, the idea that they probably grew up with cool heels. And
but who are they? Like, cool heel champions, right? Who win clean. There's Triple H. There's Brock
Triple
Lesnar.
H,
There's Undertaker.
Hogan,
Possibly Kane. Possibly Big Show, just purely because of their
Austin.
size.
Actually, no, Austin went full chicken shit, didn't he?
Austin went absolutely full chicken shit. He was
So
tapping
did
out
Kurt
behind the ref's
Angle.
back. Yeah, exactly.
Angle, The Miz.
There's no others in the Fed
Randy
anyway.
Orton was kind of in the middle. Jericho was definitely, whenever he was world champion, he was a heel anyway, so he would have been chicken shit.
Yep.
Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. So, but I think if you grew up in that, like, 98 through to 2002, the reign of terror for Triple H, basically.
But I don't understand what they're looking for. Like, there's literally, we just named all of them.
I'm not too sure either. I'm not too sure that kind of like the major ones anyways. But I feel like an Edge was a chicken shit heel as well. That's why he had about 10 stables. He had like the Edge head.
That's why he was called the ultimate opportunist.
Yeah, and he had La Familia, and he had the cash-ins, and he had that one match that he was in one chamber, and then ended up being in the other chamber.
Had sex with Lita in the ring.
Had sex with Lita and Ric Flair in the ring. All sorts. But I think there perhaps is a way of booking a chicken shit heel, or they're just not willing to give it a shot anyways. But I did dig the sort of O.J. Simpson style black glove that fucking Seth had. Don't know if you noticed that. He had one leathery black glove. I was like, that's sick. I think Bray, that's the same thing. He has like 2 gloves, but he just has gloves. But yeah, I like Seth. I like his new gimmick, and he kind of sucked as a babyface last year. Like, he got over as a babyface, and then he became the generic. So whenever, this is the thing about, really, people should be probably looking at more, forgetting about chicken shit heel, they should be looking at idiot baby faces, which everyone apart from Becky Lynch becomes when they become champion as a baby face. I'll take on anyone, anytime, and they come up with like the stupid jokes and like the corny comedy. Like, all the writers kind of filter it through them. Cena had to endure it for about 10 years. Punk when he became champion, if you look back at the summer of Punk, there's some of the stuff that he's saying when he's like talking to John Laurinaitis and goes, "You really are a giant toolbox," and it's like, a giant toolbox.
Roman Reigns with the tater tots comment.
Yeah, suffering succotash to fucking Seth as well years ago. Yeah. You are full of something, son. I think that is what they really should wipe out. Don't get me wrong, I think you can be like a comedic person who's a champion who is not 100% serious all the time, but it's a case-by-case thing, not a one-hat-fits-all. And Seth did suffer, and he was teaming up with Becky, and it was almost to the point where they're like, Becky was sustaining how over he was.
Yeah, I know.
Because Becky Lynch never changed from when she went heel. She just started fighting heels, and nobody can cut a promo as good as Becky. I think as realistic as Becky in the business today. She's great. I mean, she's the GOAT, obviously. But yeah. So yeah, we came down to the final motherfucking few, and part of me, I did want Edge to win realistically, but then it's like, you don't do the return and the win. Yeah. Maybe in one night. Maybe you tell that story later on. You tell that story over like, because he signed for 3 years, by the way.
So it's better if he doesn't win, because it keeps people wondering how long he'll be around, and every time they see him, they savor it a little bit more.
And
if he wins, it's obvious he's going to win the belt. Also, I don't think the best move would be have him receive a German suplex from Brock Lesnar.
Yes, I really want to go put him through suplex, because if you notice, like, all the bumps he took, I'm sure he can take the bigger bumps, but like very safe, very much on the back or on the back of the head. Even when King Corbin did his deep six, like the spinning sort of back suplex sort of thing, you saw Edge's hand was like right near his head to make sure that his head was like up, not taking any impact. On Raw, Edge came out and kind of said, look, I'm not fooling myself. I know how long this is going to be. Brackets, maybe 3 years. But by the way, can I just say that the Edge heel turn is coming. He's going to have the face, much like Daniel Bryan's comeback. You're going to have the face like, oh, welcome back, sell some merch. But then you're going to get Edge as a heel, and I think he's bar none one of the best heels wrestling has ever seen, period, in any era. Yeah, so Randy Orton came out on Raw and he did a concerto. So I'm guessing it's going to be those two at WrestleMania, which again makes sense. Randy Orton's say what you want about if he's good or bad, but Randy Orton's a very safe worker.
Mm-hmm.
He injures himself more than he probably injures other people. Yeah, so really, I did not think it was going to be Drew, though. How about you?
No, absolutely. Well, okay, they did this in a very, very, very interesting way. When it was down to the last four, I was like, okay, it's definitely going to be Roman. And then, shit, man, I'm really actually blanking at the moment. Roman eliminated somebody off the apron. Was it Edge?
It was Edge, yeah,
Okay,
it was Edge.
so after that happened, Roman was still on the apron, and I thought to myself, Drew is going to kick him off the apron and win. And if he doesn't do that...
because we were on the final sequence. If he doesn't do that, Roman wins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so Roman gets back into the ring. And then I'm like, oh, cool, Roman is going to win. And the fans will boo or whatever. But it's actually good because it'll be the first big thing that he's done in about 4.5 years. Save for a lackluster Intercontinental title run. So I was just like, Roman is going to win, and that's good. They obviously are going to push SmackDown more and have Roman and Brock again, and like it's going to be a big thing. And then Drew won, and I was like, wow. Like I think I actually audibly said to myself in my room, like, wow.
No, we marked out legitimate because it felt like, fuck me, they're creating a new star here. Good or bad, like, you can make the arguments for about maybe 3 or 4 other people, like Owens or Joe even, to win, but like, it's like, no, they were like, hang on a minute, let's actually, we had this guy here since he's come back about 2 years ago. He looks great. He looks he's huge, like thickness and height wise, because when I saw him with Lesnar, I was like, actually, that's a lot of beef in the ring.
Man, if him and Brock have the type of match that Roman and Brock did in 2015, or was it 2014? Whatever.
2015. You might be right, it's 15, yeah.
If they have that kind of match, like, I am fucking here for it. That's my favorite match ever. So
let's just not do the second version, which is like the 7 F5s.
And so we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
That didn't happen.
And we don't talk about the Saudi Arabia one. And we do talk about the SummerSlam one when Roman finally won. But, so I can't say the right or the wrong person won. I'm just saying it's something new. You're going to remember this. Just like when Shinsuke Nakamura won a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's not the same people you'd expect, but they built up the drama to make you think, ooh, are they going to go with Roman again? But Roman, by the way, he's been in the final 2 or 4 for the last 6 years in a row, it feels like.
Yeah, because the truth is he gives it that prestige, and also because he could honestly win it. It's like... This is, oh man, I feel like I bang this drum every episode, but I actually don't give a fuck. Kane and Austin, the last two in the 01 Rumble.
01, yes.
People thought that Kane was actually going to win, and it wouldn't have been weird if Kane won. And it's so hard for people to look back on that and acknowledge
Accept it, yeah.
But it's true, and they have that with Roman now, because Roman just has genuine star power. And
he feels like a AAA top main eventer.
He really fucking does, and he just carries himself like one. He just has it.
As I said, like all the people in the end, he could have made a case for them to win, which is the best kind of Rumbles, because other than Orton, I didn't want Orton anywhere near the final 4, but there he was. But yeah, Drew wins. Sorry, he's gonna go on to WrestleMania.
Going to fucking WrestleMania.
Are you not entertained?
See you, Brock. You cunt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shove my boot up your fucking bollocks. Yeah, wee prick.
I can't wait for him to just say, something like, the word bollocks needs to come up in the... I don't give a bollocks.
Enough of your bollocks. Listen here, him and your big baldy bollocks.
Yeah, you big knacker with your bollocks. It just starts doing all of the colloquialisms from completely different parts of the fucking UK and Ireland. But yeah, so I think it's the right thing. I don't know if he's going to beat Brock at Mania, because they tend to kind of swerve us nowadays with the Brock stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like Brock he loses to the one that you think okay, he's the one he's going to go over. But with this one, I'm genuinely interested to see where it goes. Everything else, I'm sure it all fall into place, but WrestleMania is kind of built on the marquee matches, and right now, that is probably the hottest match they have, because I don't know if Edge has any previous with Lesnar. I don't think they could tell that story of, like,
No.
not only has he come back, now he has to overcome this fucking demon.
He has to avoid doing the one move that Brock loves to do, the German suplex.
So instead, like, you go with this, and you're like, here's a guy who's trying to prove he belongs at the top. He's been clawing and scratching ever since he was the chosen one back in, like, 2009.
Yeah.
Why not, you know? So, yeah, overall, maybe it was a bit patchy, certain matches, but I really enjoyed this Rumble. I feel like I always enjoy the Rumble because it is a fun match, just generally.
It's hard to fuck it up too, but I think that this one in particular will be a memorable one because it was unique and they did do something different and they did it to great effect. And not only that, but they even followed true and took it the entire way. And I think like the element of surprise is there. The quality is absolutely there. And and also the Edge return, like it kind of just has everything.
The return wasn't just the pop and then you get eliminated in 10 seconds like sometimes they do the women's match. Like, he worked, he was there to fucking, you know, perform, so it didn't feel like you know, this is a one-off and he goes away for, you know, never to be seen again. Not to mention as well, for once the Rumble had a story going into it. Which was the Brock Lesnar story. So you're able to tell that too, which you don't get that too often.
He had beef or history with everybody too that came out. Like, that's super fucking interesting. Especially, like, but not limited to Kofi Kingston, who he actually had a match against at the Beast in the East thing.
And he killed him in 7 seconds. That's who he took the belt from.
He took the belt off him, exactly. And also, Brock and Kofi, I think, used to ride on the same bus. Or something like that. I'm pretty I think they're either friends or Brock has like a deep respect for Kofi, or you know the way Brock is weird like that and he just there's like one fucking person that he likes.
Yeah, he has like a sort of a deck of cards and he's like, I have 5 friends and that's literally it. So if you break through like Heyman has, you just feel pretty special. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, there's the Shelton stuff, the stuff with even with the bigger guys of like, okay, you fucked with the smaller guys, and then other guys were just there to be lambs to the slaughter. Fine.
I think one thing this Rumble was missing, and this is like a really fucking like this doesn't really matter all that much, but given what Todd Phillips said, I think it was missing an appearance from Lashley, because ever since Lashley came back, which was, I don't know, 1 million years ago
now. Yeah.
But the talk on the block at the time was Lashley versus Lesnar.
Lesnar, yeah.
And I think, like, let's say, like, I don't really care about that match or find it particularly interesting at all, but you could have satisfied that. You could have scratched that itch in this Rumble, I think.
Do you remember the excuse they gave for Bobby and Rusev not being there?
No, I didn't even hear.
They apparently got into a scrap like earlier on in the day, and they both couldn't compete. But the name is, you went, no, there's no medical issues. They're not injured. It's just they haven't been medically cleared. But the guy with spinal 3 fusion and a broken neck 9 years ago, he's clear to compete though. Like,
don't say they got suspended for.
But there wasn't like, here's what happened earlier, here's a little angle, and they're fighting each other in the parking lot. They must have booked the match and realized, oh shit, we are out of spots here.
What's the deal with that feud? It's really fucking weird.
I think but you know Paul Heyman books Raw now, by the way.
And Bischoff does not do SmackDown anymore.
Bischoff left very quickly, apparently. He did fuck all. But Paul Heyman has now, for the 2nd or 3rd time, done a massive cuck storyline. I don't know why. He had it with Maria and Mike Kanellis, where Mike was like, you know, she was pregnant, and she's like, even this little baby could probably beat you in the ring. Ugh. And then he had the second cuck storyline, which was Rusev and Lana just generally breaking up, and then that led to Rusev and Lana, and Rusev and Liv and Lana and Bobby. Basically, she had an affair and storyline, and they just seemed to be stretching it out. But then the weird thing is, they had a wedding segment a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think that did huge ratings, because weddings do massive ratings in wrestling.
Because
everyone knows, yeah.
you might come out dressed like Lita in her wedding dress.
Exactly. And, yeah, so they just prolonged that feud for ages, but I think they've had like 2 matches in 3 months. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, missing out. But again, I don't think this match would have been any better or worse if we saw Rusev and Bobby Lashley. They probably do the spot, they eliminate each other anyways and brawl to the back, count out finish. So, whatever. Overall, once again, I'm ready for the WrestleMania build. If the next pay-per-view looks interesting, we might touch on it. If it's just 15 Elimination Chamber matches, probably not. But we'll
15 of them.
Yeah, I mean, like Hell in a Cell, like 7 in the pre-show, 7.
So,
but yeah, I think overall, definitely 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
8 Claymore kicks out of 10.
8 Claymore kicks out of 10. Yes.
So yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. I think
it does indeed. And thanks for listening to the listeners.
Thank you. Yeah.
If we have any left, eh?
Yeah. Or have any back? Yes. Just a side note. We're probably going to be a little bit more active in 2020. We just had a few technical issues to kind of go over.
Yeah.
But I think we're back on board now. I think things are a little bit stable in everybody's lives here. And yeah, if you kind of didn't unsubscribe, much appreciated. Thanks for sticking around. We're probably gonna go to doing compilations like we did with the Goldberg stuff, just not to put too much pressure on ourselves, because as El De Niro said, like, jobs, life, existing is fucking hard sometimes. So we'll try not to have a schedule of like every day, every week, but we'll try to keep it siphoned enough that you should be getting content frequently enough to keep your ears and your brain very entertained.
Yeah, take Miguel's new audio quality as an example or a symbol of how seriously we are taking this.
I want you to take this audio quality, shine it up real nice, and shove it up your ears.
Absolutely.
Should we leave it there?
I think so, yes.
Yes, remember to like, subscribe, respect. I respect you back. Thumbs up, high fives, hugs, comments, Reddit posts, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Shooting Star Press, Tumblr, Pornhub.
Hey, you're dealing with the X Factor.
Yes, Love Island. Thank you very much for listening. Uncle Cracker. Thank you very much for listening. Have a nice life. Peace. Wait, no, that sounded like I was fucking gonna shoot him at the end there. Yeah. Have a nice day, and yeah, look after yourselves, folks, because the government sure ain't.
Look after yourselves, folks, because it ain't getting any easier out there.
Ain't getting any easier out there, so we must stand together and be strong. How's that?
Excellent.
Brilliant. Good night.
Good night.